Hello, fellow traders. It's Nutty Bar, and it is Saturday afternoon. It is February the 14th, 2026. And this is an update. This is an updated video on Apex. I feel like it's necessary. I've gotten quite a bit of questions, and I've seen comments on Twitter. I've seen comments in my YouTube chat, just different things where a lot of people saying they requested payout and it was denied based off of minimum requirement not met. And also, just for clarity, there were some cases where it was a miscommunication on Apex's part. And if I've been dealing with a lot of cases myself where people have been forwarding me their information, and I try to help. I try to help as much as I can. And I have to be careful that I don't get myself overwhelmed. But if I have somebody that is a regular viewer and a regular person in my chat and they're having issues, I will try my best to help. And I forward the case to Apex support to try to get answers. And there were a couple cases where there are some discrepancies on communication. So I do want to make that clear right off the rip. But there is a lot of people, I think, just we need to inform people. And that's what I'm doing. I've been going back and forth with Apex the last 2 days, trying to get some clarity on how Apex is dealing with violations going forward. I've gotten quite a bit of information that I feel like the general public doesn't know yet. So I'm just doing this video and trying to inform you guys. And again, I want to also just start by saying the overall, the thing to keep in mind here is Apex's goal overall, and I am totally for this, and that is to have automatic payout approvals. That is the goal behind these changes, is that if you are able to request a payout, it will be automatically approved, because basically Apex is going from, basically like you've seen, if people would break a rule, if people, broke the MAE rule or whatever rule that they broke, they would have to request a payout, and knowing that they're going to get denied just in order to clear the violation, which was kind of annoying. And yeah, just it caused a lot of payout denials, which were rightfully so. But then people could clear the violation, trade cleanly for 8 days, and then they would request again. That is what Apex is trying to eliminate, and going from basically kind of a real-time update when you have a violation. So the goal is going forward, if you have a violation of any kind, a couple days, hopefully the day after, but I've seen a couple where it takes like 2 to 3 days to get the email. But hopefully that will be sped up so that you will get the email the day after you have a violation. And then in that email, it is going to tell you what you need to do in order to clear that violation, and then to be able to request a payout. So, once that is happening across the board, basically, when you are able to request a payout, that means you've cleared the violations and it will be automatically approved. Now, I know right now it's not there yet, but that is the goal going forward. And it is a new system, or I feel like it's a new way of, it's a little bit of a twist or a new way of handling the denials or handling the violations. So anytime there's something new, there's always the possibility that, things can get missed. Things can be, there can be glitches. There can be miscommunication. Stuff like that can happen. So that is where I will try my best to help. If you feel like you should, or if you feel like you met the requirements and everything, but you're still getting a payout denied based off of the minimum requirement not met, send me an email. I will help as much as I can. Obviously, your first step should be to reach out to Apex support and show them the discrepancy. And I will show you how to do that here in a minute. But anyway, I just wanted to summarize this. That is what this video is about. Now, I know every time I do an Apex video, there's always haters. So if you're a hater, if you don't like Apex for some reason, whatever, you don't want to follow the rules, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to. There is no one forcing anyone to use Apex. And I've always said, yes, Apex has more rules to follow, but the return on investment is there. And I can assure you, and I feel I can say this with full confidence. If you follow the rules, you will get paid. I have seen, unless there is some kind of glitch, but 99% of the time, the people that are complaining, the people that are gaslighting and just going crazy, they likely broke the rules. I have seen too many instances of people saying they did nothing wrong, and I research it, and I see the back end of things, and they were obviously just lying. And I've just seen too many of those cases. There have been some cases where there was discrepancies and it was cleared and Apex made it right. But anyway, I'm not going to focus this video on the haters. I'm going to focus on the people that actually care and actually want to follow the rules and want to get paid out. This is for you. So the most important thing that is new, this is under your accounts. So this is my dashboard. And if you go to accounts, you'll see an account details tab. If you click on the account details, this will bring you to your summary page right here. Now, to the right, you will see eligibility requirements. Now, this is a very important page to pay attention to. And depending on how many violations you have, there are going to be different requirements for you, depending on if you're a habitual violator, if you habitually break rules and do not care about rule breaking, you are going to be punished and you are going to have more difficult road to clearing those violations. So basically, a person with 1 to 2 violations or even 3 to 4 in the first, it also depends on how many days traded you have. For example, I have 65 days traded on my accounts, and I'll show you guys right now. If you scroll down all the way to I have 2 violations currently. I have 2 violations currently on 65 days traded. That ratio is important. If you have 2 days traded and have 2 violations, that is not the same, and you might have a different eligibility requirement to meet to clear those violations. So don't just look at someone, and says, hey, I have 4 violations and the other guy has 4, but the one guy might have 100 days traded and you might have 10. That is a scenario that it will be different. So, but the eligibility requirements page, this is important. This is basically telling you, this is what I need to do in order to be able to request a payout. Now, obviously for me, I need to get my profit target. I haven't met my profit target. That's why I can't request. Also, consistency rule. This is going to be, everybody's going to have the 30% consistency rule. But what will change is the minimum trading days and the $50 in profit. So now I also want to say, this is where I've seen some discrepancies from the email that you get when you have a violation and to this dashboard. And that is, I'm trying to work with Apex to make sure that the email that someone gets reflects the same thing as the eligibility requirements. So if you break a rule, the next day or a couple days after, you should be getting an email that, hey, you broke a rule. I'm actually going to show you guys my email. Here is my email that I got after I had the MAE rule violation on December the 30th. So basically, it will tell you the day you broke the rule, and then it will tell you need to trade 10 calendar days, and 5 of those days need to be $50 in profit per day. That is very important. Now, I also want to say, if there is a discrepancy between this email and the requirements page, the email basically is correct. The email is the one to go off of. And I guess the requirements page, I'm not sure those are being updated as fast and as accurately as they should. But that is the goal going forward. So you have to really pay attention to the email. And it's not a one size fits all. Depending how many violations you have, it's going to be different. So, and I also just want to take a little bit of time here to talk about, so obviously in the past, let's talk about how things used to be. In the past, it used to be you could break basically any kind of rule you wanted and as many times as you wanted, and then just request a payout knowing you're going to get denied, and then trade cleanly for 8 days. And then it was kind of a cheat code a little bit, and I know people were abusing it. That is what is going to stop. That is no longer going to be possible. And I'll explain in detail kind of why breaking the rules just to grow a huge balance and then get denied and then trade cleanly for 8 days, those days are over. And I think they should be. That is just playing the game. Obviously, it was kind of allowed, but now it's getting cracked down on and it's going to be stopped. It really, and I've seen it. I've seen it numerous times, and unfortunately, I seen it with influencers probably more than anyone. And yeah, honestly, I think a case could be made that influencers kind of forced Apex's hand here a little bit. I'm not going to be naming names, but I'm just going to tell you, I know for a fact that there were influencers that were habitually breaking the rules like crazy just to run up an account balance and just playing the game and just trying to run up huge accounts, get $1 million payouts, breaking all kinds of rules. I have never been a fan of, I think, regardless if you're an influencer, whoever you are, I'm a big proponent of everybody should be treated the same. If you're an influencer, I don't care. If you broke the rules, you should get denied your payout. I don't care. And I think that is going to, I've been trying to say that for years, and I hope that will start to be implemented. And this kind of adjustment by Apex will prevent influencers or non-influencers of basically doing this kind of thing and taking kind of advantage of their influence. So, hey, I've gotten denied payouts. I'll show you right now. I've never asked for special treatment. I've gotten denied payouts quite a bit, and rightfully so. I broke the rules. And I should have gotten denied payouts. That's how it should be across the board. So just wanted to say that and make that clear. I do think that is why some of these changes are happening, is because it was really being abused by some influencers. Okay, so the important thing to know is look at your email after you have a violation. Make sure you look at your eligibility requirements here. And again, these should match. If they don't, take screenshots, send it to Apex support. Hopefully they can get it reconciled. But from what I heard, the email is what is important. So if one doesn't match, go with the email. Now, if we go to the trading details, this is where I think it's pretty cool. One thing I always do, if you go to the trading details, just a little tip, don't show your account balance, show your violation and your daily P&L. It's way cleaner this way. And you can see, like I said, I have 65 days traded here, and I have had 2 violations, and it will clearly show you the violations on this chart. Going forward, they're going to update the violations where it will actually tell you which violation you broke, which rule you broke as well. It'll show it right on this chart as well. So that'll be really nice. But again, I don't know specific parameters, but if you're going to there are going to be different requirements. And the other thing I want to talk about is removal of profits. So all the way down at the bottom here, you see a cash balance adjustments. And this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about. It is not worth breaking the rules. It really isn't, guys. I know in the past, there wasn't really that much punishment from Apex side when you had rule breakage. Like you could go draw down, once you went past the MAE rule violation, you could just, you could just start DCAing and just hope and pray. We've all been there. I've been there. You panic, you go into the violation, you start to DCA like a madman, and hey, you got lucky. And the market reversed, and you were able to get out for a $500 profit. Hallelujah, right? No, that is no longer going to be a benefit, because if you break the rule, if you have a violation, the profits are going to be removed that you made on that violation. So again, there is zero benefit to having violations. And I know this sounds crazy, guys. I know. Just stick with me. It's almost like it's not worth having it's just don't break the rules. I know it sounds crazy, but just don't break the rules. It's not worth it. I know I'm going to trade differently. Because in the past, if I had a violation or getting close to the MAE and I was in the beginning of my accounts, as you guys know, if you follow me, I trade very slow. It takes me a long time to get to my payout. I do not rush my Apex accounts. I trade slowly. It usually takes me 70, 80 days, 90 days before I get to that first payout. So I'm definitely not trying to YOLO my PA accounts in the beginning, but I've had cases where I panic, and like you've seen, I get into drawdown. I try to DCA my way out of it because in the past I knew, hey, if I just trade cleanly for 8 days, it'll be okay. But now that's no longer the case, and it really isn't worth it. So if you get close to that MAE rule violation, just close the trade. I'm trying to think if I explained what the MAE rule violation is for those of you out there that maybe don't know. So the MAE rule violation is very simple. Whatever your drawdown is, it's 30% of that. So if you have a 50K account, the 50K account, you have $2,500 of drawdown. 30% of $2,500 is $750. So basically, if you enter a trade, don't let the trade go lower or more than $750 into drawdown. Just cut the trade. It's not a daily loss limit. You can cut the trade and then just get right back in it if you really want to. But just don't keep holding more than 30% into your drawdown. And that $750 it doesn't get less than that. So if if you start the day with $1,000 in drawdown on a 50K account, you still have $750 of, that you can hold a trade in. So it doesn't adjust as the drawdown gets less. It never gets less than 750. It will get more if you start to slowly scale your accounts and you get a 50K account and you grow it to $25,000 in profit. Now you have $7,500 that you can go into drawdown before you have a rule violation on MAE. So just to clarify what MAE rule violation is, just to make sure. Also, I did check with Apex. I was just kind of curious for myself. I asked them, what is the biggest and the most violation or the most popular violation? And it is definitely the MAE rule violation. So the MAE rule violation and the scaling violation. So with a 50K account, you can only trade half contract size until you get to that first payout. So be aware of that. Those are the two primary violations that people do. So just be aware of it. Again, I know it sounds simple, but just don't break the rules and you'll be fine. I'm going to trade differently. It's not worth it anymore. It is not worth breaking the rules. And it's just going to be way less headache. And again, if you don't break the rules, you will get paid. Don't listen to, one thing that I'm going to start asking, if people start asking about, hey, I did nothing wrong, yada, 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 the first thing I'm going to ask for, if you say that, I'm going to ask for a screenshot of this, because that will show if it's true or not. I'm going to ask for the violations and the amount and the email and also the eligibility requirements. Again, I get a lot of people that reach out to me to try to help, and I will help, but I will ask for proof before I actually reach out to Apex to help. I've just had too many cases where what I get told is just a lie and just completely fabricated from the truth. So I will ask for proof, but if the proof is there, I will fight for you, and I will make sure it gets resolved, whatever the issues are. So anyway, I know this is a long video. I hope this was helpful. I know it's kind of a rambling video. It's not edited like all the fancy YouTubers do. I just can't do that. I just do a one-take video always. So hopefully this was helpful. And yeah, let a comment down below. Again, my email is nuttybar1983@gmail.com. If you really feel like there's a discrepancy, send me an email, and again, I will help. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Take care, and God bless.